what books I read in January. First, let's start with the have-nots. I do need to refresh myself on what I said I was going to read, because did I read it? Did I not? Start off with have not read. A Little Life. You see the bookmark? You see it? I attempted. We attempted to read this book here, right? What happened was it is sad. I even started TikTok about this book, and it's sad. Obviously everyone has said that this is a sad book, and I am not ready. Never. And I wouldn't even count it as a have not, because I have this on my Kindle as well, and I'm like 37% into the book. So I have not finished it. Okay. But we have started it. This is a Peter Pan retelling. I love her writing so much, so I cannot wait to read more. On my TBR is Magnolia Parks, and I want to read that so bad, like right now, just because the way she writes is so beautiful. So this is a 50-50, like we didn't finish in January, did start her. I also am annotating it. As you see, this is not where I am in the book because I started in my Kindle, so I will have to go back and finish the annotations in this book, but we are liking it. We do like it, yes. Throne of Glass, okay? But we did read Assassin's Blade, okay? So we're 1 and 2, basically. We have read Assassin's Blade. We did love this book. I cannot wait to get back into this world. I personally just decided that I wanted to read Crescent City. There are many different ways you could read the whole Sarah J. Maas universe. And a lot of people say you need to read ACOTAR and then Throne of Glass in order to read Crescent City. I'm going to disagree, because I started reading Assassin's Blade, and this took me a little while to read. I did love it. I think this is like a 4.2. This is just the adventures of Selena and how she was before everything happened in this book. And I haven't read this book, so I can't tell you what's happened here. But these just like little short books all together in one. And I did love it. I think like a 4.25, something like that is what I rated it. And ideally I was gonna just go straight into Throne of Glass, but then I started reading Crescent City, and I'm gonna argue that you can just any order you can do, honestly, but you can read ACOTAR and then go to Crescent City and then go to the Throne of Glass series. You could do either one, and I'm loving Crescent City right now, so I'm gonna argue that that was the right order for me. Ballad of Never After, and this was a friend pick for January's book. Okay, so this was a friend pick, and she picked The Ballad of Never After. And speaking of Ballad of Never After, I also did read A Curse for True Love. So we completely finished the series, and I'm so happy that I did. The Ballad of After, I did give 5 stars. A Curse for True Love, I gave 4.25. I just wanted more of Evelina and Jax, and I feel like I personally just, it didn't do it for me. It was still a good book. It's still a really great series. I would highly recommend this series as a total. So far for me, I've read 2 books that I said I was gonna read. So yay, we're doing good. Then we have Becoming Michelle Obama. We did read this. This was a biography, so nonfiction, and I loved it. I can't really rate autobiographies. It's just weird rating them because they're talking about someone else's life. I enjoyed learning more about Michelle. It was a really interesting read. And speaking of biographies, I feel like I was in a little kick because on, was it Spotify or Libby? I can't remember. I think both. I ended up reading Britney Spears biography, and then I also read Viola Davis, or I listened to it. And again, it's hard to like give a biography like a rating because it's somebody's life, but I really do find that I'm super interested in reading, well, not everybody's biography, but like certain people. I feel like you just learn so much about the person. Like with Britney Spears, I learned so much. Like she just wanted to be a good mom, you know? Like she just wanted to have her kids, love them. And a lot of that was just taken away from her. So, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of her either. So it was really interesting learning more about her and like why the things were happening that were happening, especially like living through it and hearing about like her shaving her head and the whole Free Britney thing. So definitely recommend all of these biographies. So Becoming Michelle Obama, Britney Spears, The Woman Within Me, and Viola Davis, Finding Me. Highly recommend. They were really good. Then I also did, so what are we at? I have read 3 books I said I was going to read now, and I have not read 2 books on this list. Next up, but we did add 2 books, so I could have read those 2 books on the list, but we went with 2 other books. Then we have Alice Sweeney, Rock, Paper, Scissors. This is a thriller. It's not my favorite Alice Sweeney book. People rave about this. I think it gave us like a 3.25 or like a 3.75. It just made me mad. It did. It made me mad because I'm like, you did all that for, like, this character did all of this, all of the things she did. Oh, I can't. I feel like I can't tell you without spoiling. I'm not gonna do that, but it was really frustrating because the main character in here, not even the main character, she was like the background. So it was confusing at first because there's like these letters, these anniversary letters. And it was confusing at first, and then I finally got it, and I did love where it was going. Alice Sweeney is really good at writing twists though, so there was a lot of twists in here. I did see some of it coming, and it just made me really mad that it ended the way that it ended, because I was just so mad at these characters. Like, they were both complete terrible people. They were terrible to each other, and you know, there's something in here that I hate when it's in books. Like, what is the point? But I guess like with thrillers, it sets the motive of like the whole why I'm doing this, right? But I still don't love it. The spouse. 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. This is my. I love this series so much. The first book was 5 out of 5, or the first book was like a 6. This is a 5. I was dying to read. This is like my beloved. I am so happy I read this. I definitely do see me doing a reread of this series soon. I love it so much, and I'm so glad that I did end up picking this up, because I didn't think I was gonna get to this. I don't think I said I was gonna read this in here, but I ended up reading it anyway because I had to. This is, again, it's the second book in a series, so I'm gonna be very vague, but it takes place obviously with how the first one ended, and it just dives a little bit deeper into the world, but not too much. This is still heavily a romance book, so I feel like it was such an injustice comparing this to Fourth Wing. This is part of the reason why I did pick it up, but I got something completely different and I ended up loving it. So this is a romance with fantasy elements, and I highly recommend it. Then I did do, like I said, my reread of The 7 Husbands of Emily Hugo. This is still, oh my gosh, Evelyn Hugo. I keep saying Emily because The Stuff of Evelyn Hugo. This was a reread for me, and it's still a 5-star. Like, it's still 5 out of 5. I love the narration because I did go back and forth between audio. Because you know me, I'm always gonna go back and forth between audio. I'm always gonna go back and forth between my Kindle and the physical book. I like having multiple formats of the book. That way, I can always be in reading mode. Even rereading The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, I still find myself wondering how she's not a real actress. Like, this book is just really good. It just reads like this would be like the autobiography of Evelyn Hugo's life and her husbands and everything that she went through. It's really good. It's still a 5-star read. I feel like there was another book. Yeah, so that's it. So those were the 9 books. I thought there was another one, but those are the 9 books that I read in January. And that's actually really good because I didn't think I was going to be able to read 9 books. And I'm also in the middle of Never, so I should be finishing that shortly. So really, I only didn't read Throne of Glass and A Little Life from my January books. We'll see what I read February. I will be back here to give you all the update on February and what we shall be reading. Thank you for watching, and you know, stay with me. I have more videos to come. Go ahead, do all that stuff, the like, comment, subscribe, and you know, I will see you in February. We'll see what I read. We'll see what my February TBR will look like. And then I have 2 other videos that I am also working on. So it's a lot going on. We're gonna put books away because I have books everywhere, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.